Godfather, Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
I got something to say.
See alien?
We never know what's going on the outside world.
1-800 be a cunt. I love the background.
Whole week I just completely redid my laundry room. So this color is raspberry parfait, but I told them to make it 20% darker than the original color.
Those lights.
Yeah, Dollar General, baby. It's the only thing I have in this town.
Actually a good one.
It's actually my best friend Jamie. Hi, Jamie.
Hi, Jamie.
She lives about like 5 minutes from a Dollar General where she's at. And that Dollar General, talk about nice.
I'm kind of wishing there were 10 of me.
Yeah. I have a concept of time, but I feel like lately I've been so bad at time management, and I really never was. I feel like I have so many things that I'm excited about, which is great because I never used to get like that because of depression. I just wouldn't want to do anything, and the days would go by so slow. But now I feel like I'm so excited to do so many things. I have so many projects. I have so many art things that I want to do. This, editing, like I'm doing everything that I just absolutely love. And I feel like the days are flying by. There's not enough of me. Like you're saying, I wish there was 10 of me. But I'm also like super grateful that I'm able to feel like I have not enough hours in a day, because that always wasn't the case for me.
Well, that's a good evolution or revolution. I feel so much more inspired since we started. Since we started doing this. Like May kicked in hard when I started photo shooting and working. Well, that was April was photo shooting. And then I started the salon in May. That's when I started the radio. Then you came on the first show.
I feel like once we were on the radio show and you called it was that night and you were like, I have a really good feeling about all of this. I feel like this is the start of something. And then ever since then, I feel like together and us separately, I feel like once you said that, it was like boom, 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 boom.
Hopefully it's not too much work. I'm really confident, and it's not something that I'm trying to put on you. You're that talented. The amount of people that go, did you do that? Because everybody knows I couldn't do it. But I've had people like, is she using some special app? And even if it is that you're using CapCut, you're the one that's doing it. I don't even know how it's possible. And even if it took 2 weeks to get them done, that's fine because they're so good. And if I did it, it's nothing anybody would want to see on YouTube. I want to be able to really bring out the guests that are on the show. And It's so hard to condense information.
It is. It's a lot. And it's so much fun, though. And I only use CapCut, but I use like Pinterest, Google, like I'll create my own little stickers and pictures on Procreate, which is a great app if you have an iPad. It's only Apple, but
Procreate.
Yeah, and it's all just like finding pictures, graphics, stickers, sounds. Like even the sounds, I don't always use CapCut sounds. I'll go on YouTube and I'll find royalty-free things, copyright-free things, and then I'll speed it up or slow it down or overlay it. And it's the same thing with like the pictures and like our intro is like Canva, Shuffles, CapCut, like using all different and then overlaying it all. I don't know if that means anything to you, but like once you get the groove of it, like I didn't go to school or anything for it. It's really just simply from playing around and experimenting. When I was younger, like in 7th, 8th grade, I'll overlay it. I've always made movies. I've always made YouTube videos. I've had videos of like me, my sister, and like our cousins when I was in like a sophomore in high school, and they're still on YouTube to this day. And like, it's not editing like it is now, but it was just like, it's just funny to look back and be like, I've always loved like digital creation. It's fun because when you're like for editing for this specific podcast, it's like finding our niche and our like aesthetic and our vibe, which is very like intergalactic. I feel like intergalactic, majestic, editing to that aesthetic. Whereas when I edit things for Comfy Komodo, it's a totally different aesthetic. And then it's like when I'm editing for you, it's going to be a totally different aesthetic. It's like editing to where it matches your brand, so everything is cohesive. And it's just so much fun doing like vision boards of here's like an idea of like a color scheme, just like the type of vibes and whatever. It's a lot, but it's a lot of fun at the same time, and you'll totally get the hang of it. It's just trial and error. It's just trial and error and playing around, and it's really just getting to know the actual app, but it's all trial and error.
Sick light on you. You need to take still shots of this right now.
Take a picture, it'll last longer.
I want to go back to what you were saying about how the video editing, you have to want to do it. And you have to have some part of your brain that loves fixating on all of that. Mine doesn't totally work that way, but I think it's so fascinating when you make those subtleties happen so smoothly in the transitions, and when the transitions happen smoothly, because on YouTube, you know it too, that's what you're looking at. And then what we're doing here too is trying to also communicate to the listener in a way that flows and they can understand what we're talking about, right? Because we're looking at it when we're looking at it on the YouTube, but then you think, oh, if people aren't watching the podcast on YouTube, or if I can translate it to Spotify eventually, the talking piece of it, the speaking piece, has to be just as smooth. So this is, I feel, what, the 6th? Are we on number 6?
Yeah.
I think we've grown so much. Even just that Smarty Me app has helped in a way for me to think of different entries or answers.
I really need to get that app, because that's always something. I was just telling Mermaid Steph, like whenever, because she has such a great vocabulary. She said a word the other day, I couldn't even tell you what it was. And she was saying a word, and I was looking at her, I was like, what the fuck are you saying right now? And she was like, you've never heard that word? It was like encoutrantre or something like that. Literally just means like, it was like a better way of saying like, I need to get more condiments to finish this meal. Like, yeah, it wasn't condiments though. It was, and she texted it to me, but I literally was just, I was looking at her like, you better not be fucking with me right now. What the fuck are you saying? Like, I was so like, Steph, are you even speaking English? Like, and then she like told me, and I was just like, was like, oh my God. I was like, every time you use a fancy big word like that, can you please send it to me? Because I really need to like strengthen my vocabulary. And I'm not kidding. The next day, you were like, oh, yesterday I was saying how I wanted to broaden my vocabulary. And I was just like, I literally just had that conversation with Steph yesterday as well. It was crazy. It's like we're always on the same wavelength.
What would be really fun is to create a vocab column with the podcast of the words that we've learned, because I've been now more conscious of my vocabulary. My uncle has a phenomenal vocabulary and he writes it very well. He knows how to spell really well. I feel like I've lost my ability to spell. The other thing about the video, okay, before YouTube, before phones, there was the VHS and it had a tiny little tape that went into the camera. And I, as well, was obsessed with videography. So, wait, I need to find it somehow. I think it's in a box, maybe in my brother's garage, but I made the Hippie and Hoppy show. And I had these little bunny figurines that went into a house. I created a whole script, a whole skit. One, is fire prevention. And I would move them and film them so it looked like they were moving.
Stop motion.
Hours. And then I made these clay figurines that I did that with. And then my friend, we would make these dancing videos and they were very, the choreography was on point. And I remember she went, Janet Jackson, her moves are somewhat like this. Those videos were so clutch. And then in high school, we had projects where we had to do videos for English, and I love putting them together.
Freshman year of high school for history, and we were doing a project on the Holocaust, and I made a video. There was everything. All of my classmates and like he absolutely
did a reenactment.
Yeah, like the speech on my balcony of the house, like Hitler was doing, it was a whole reenactment. And he loved it. Like I got an A+. He was like, anytime we do a project, you need to make movies. And I swear to God, like that was like definitely, first of all, I was in 9th grade, but it's like I wasn't trying to be offensive. It was just a reenactment. And it was just like I wanted to do it in a creative way because it was like we were in 9th grade. I feel like I knew at that time, like I wasn't the type of person where I was like, oh yeah, let me just sit here and watch your PowerPoint. It was like, no, I'm going to make a movie. You're going to watch a movie. And it was like 14 minutes long. And I couldn't tell you where it is. That's probably the only video that I don't have. And I remember with the whole video thing, we had a big screen TV and I had my Xbox 360 and I was playing Sims. And my sister would stand in front of the big screen with like a ruler, like it was her pointer. And we would do a whole home design channel. And she would be like, okay, so now I'm going to put a wall here. And then I would be behind the scenes actually building the wall. And that was like actually a really cool concept. That was so much fun. I love Sims. I still play it to this day. It's interesting how like a lot of people that I kind of am friends with, because I am friends with just all beautiful, creative, very magical people. I feel like everybody when they were younger were like, yeah, I used to make videos and like do little edits, and this was before YouTube, before Vine, before Musical.ly, before TikTok, before all of that, where it was literally just for us. So it's like looking back, I can kind of understand why somebody would create an app like TikTok and stuff, because a lot of people really enjoy creating things. And it's interesting that we're both turned out to be creative, and it's cool how at that time videography was so new to us. So it was like we wanted to learn and get into it. And we're still like that with other things. And it's so cool. It's so cool to think about.
We didn't have money in high school, and I was trying to get into college on a scholarship for field hockey. So I edited my field hockey videos, get the shots that you were in and, you know, goals and all of that, but have them pieced together. So that was probably my first big deal.
For college? That's
Yeah.
huge.
It was huge. You know, it's just, I think it's the time for me right now where I just don't have the time. I have the ideas, and I can't work with somebody that I don't know. And that was something that I realized too. And this is why I'm very lucky to have you. But if it ever feels like it's too much, you just let me know. Or if it's even just try to teach me more so that I can do it. But I'm really excited to launch the Daily Tea with Jay. I think it's going to be just so cute and not chaotic. And you get me. And even just having a style corner, because I have the ideas on the page. It's just none of it makes any sense.
Right.
So that'll be really awesome to get going. People want to start following me because of the Pachacucha, and I'm keeping it private until I'm ready to go.
To me, like, that is the best part, is finding your brand and your aesthetic and your color scheme, like what I was talking about earlier. It's like you're kind of creating a whole different world for yourself and like your things that you create and bring to life. And that's so much fun. I can't stress it enough. I've changed my brand and business so many times until I landed on Comfy Komodo.
A core skill that you have.
Oh,
I believe that you're going to have to come up with pricing for these things, because these might be your initial, you know, your like even the mock-ups of having to, you know, having things on hand to show somebody what you're doing and how to do it and how you're going to do it for them. People are charging so much money for it. It's unbelievable, even with the website. And I did that on my own. There's more to be had with it, but at least it's a start. You have this innate skill to also, it's kind of retract and refract things from the essence of that person who might not even know that about themselves.
oh, interesting.
And that's branding, right? And it took me a minute with the MESA Beauty. Even the names are so hard.
So hard, and that's the most important thing.
Yeah,
Mesa
and you're
Beauty is perfect though.
thank you. And it, you know, it goes beyond, but it's at least Southwest. At first I wanted to do Coyote Beauty because of like Coyote Ugly. And I thought that was,
that's cool.
I love the Coyote Beauty, but there's a lot of coyote names in Taos, so it gets lumped. But I think you have a skill that will be recognized. And if you love art and you're able to put it together in something that can make money, that's cool. You'd asked me about what to paint. And it was funny that you asked me, because I love every single thing that you've done. And I feel that your style does translate to all of them. I look at Georgia O'Keeffe's scope of her flowers. Her flowers are beautiful, but my favorite paintings are the ones with the skulls and the dead, dried bones, and making it beautiful. But flowers with bones, I think, are just so gorgeous.
Yeah, it really is. It's just a whole, just life in all forms. It's like the beginning of life. I feel like when flowers bloom, that's like symbolizes like the peak, because then they die. But then they always
And
come back
switch
next
to
season.
depressive Jessica. Dead things.
Dead thing. Dead.
I just want to have a serious face about the Holocaust. I can't. I think I laughed through the whole thing.
So did my history teacher.
It was 8th grade. I did a video Again, it was with 4 people. I was in Catholic school over at Reverend Brown, and I did one where the girl got pregnant and then had to tell all and had to tell all of her friends. And then she was really depressed up in my room, and we went outside too. And I remember there was rain. It was so funny.
At the time, it's like, I'm gonna do this. Like, this is serious. Like, this is me acting. This is me acting.
Part of this too is I want to be able to blog, right, with photos when I go to festivals, or, I think I'm going to have Elizabeth, who's behind Vivian Rikki design.
Ooh.
She reworks all that vintage. I'm going to have her outfit me for Austin City Limits.
Ooh, that would be so cool. That would be awesome to like vlog the behind the scenes.
I feel like behind the scenes is where my thoughts come up and my ideas come up. Yesterday, I really wish you were out here sometimes. And we got to go up to San Cristobal, which is 20 minutes towards Colorado. Jerry, who owns part of KNCE, and I said, honestly, something didn't work out with this other farm here that I really wanted to do a shoot on. And he said, oh, you're welcome to come up here anytime. So we planned it. I went up, I scouted on Friday. I couldn't even believe where I was. It was just so magical. I have to mess around with my camera a little bit more. I think I had it on. I love the photos, but some of them would have been clearer had I had it on a different setting. I have to get really used to the lighting and which setting to go on for, that type of thing. But they came out really well. They were 2 clients that are friends that are more nomadic in Taos, so they're usually seasonal here. But that yesterday, just behind the scenes, getting dressed and walking around the property and shooting, Elizabeth and I came up with this whole idea. And I think doing a behind the scenes video of a photo shoot would be really cool for both of us to even take our separate video.
That would be so cool, like a point of view from every single person. That would be so cool. And then it would be cool to get a shot of each of you, like whoever is involved, to be like, what was this experience to you? Like, explain this experience in one word.
It is fun to see how you gel with people. She was in my chair before and we got along really well, but working with people in that capacity is so different. You see usually is the other side of the production, but that's why Project Runway was so cool, right?
Yeah, I loved Project Runway.
Yeah, but I love creating. It creates new ideas. And you had set yesterday when we started talking about the Instagram, I felt then more inspired even when I was doing the photo shoot. I feel I have more of a direction just of that. And when I feel like, this is why I was like, I'm having a cyber crisis, I didn't feel like things were matching. And then I felt, even though I'm not my social media, everything in my life has to have flow, just like the rug and the comforter and where things are affect me. So when I feel like things aren't in line or have alignment, that was part of why I had that meltdown on Monday.
That makes total sense, because it's like you want things to match and flow, but you don't want everything to be the same either. Like when I walk into my house, I want everything to just, everywhere I look, to be aesthetically pleasing and have it make sense, even if it doesn't match. And you're creating things in a photo, like doing a photograph, it's also doing that. You want different poses, you want different styles, but you still want it to all be cohesive. It really gets your brain working. Like, it's so much mental stimulation in a good way.
And also being kind of loose but directive with the models. So much easier to work with one person. Unless they've been doing it together for a long time, one might have this incredible look and pose, and the other one is like, you know, bringing that together is something that I'm not a professional photographer. I've just witnessed it. So if somebody's not a professional model, it's not that they're not capable of it. They just haven't had as much training around being in front of the camera and also working together with it. So I have to get more skillful at being articulate about where, even just saying right versus left, my brain has to go in all these different directions. And on the camera, these cameras aren't smartphones, so you have to focus and you have to do all this stuff before and make sure the frame. So it's really good for me, I think. And you said it, and so did Jessica Thomas, who Crow Jane Jewelry. She's the partner with Pechacucha that I'm working with. So an interior designer, and she works with big companies like airlines and stuff.
Wow.
Which is cool. But when you go into her house, she said the same thing. I said I needed things to change and move around. And she said, you have to make your eyeballs happy.
Yeah.
And some people don't care about that, but they don't realize how much of a difference it could make in their personal lifestyle. I feel better about even what I put on when I like what's around me. If you love the lighting, that just changes the mood of when you're putting your makeup on. Or lighting is so important to me. But
Decorating for a business and a store, same thing with like a website. Like you want your business website to be different than like relaxing and appealing to yourself. Whereas it's like with a storefront or like a business page, it's showcasing your style, but keeping everybody else in mind too, because it's a business and it's so hard to separate the two, but also keep them together at the same time.
the same thing with the brand. Unless you're literally trying to be off the grid, then what's the point of even being on social media? If you have a company or a brand, it makes it more appealing and more marketable when it makes sense. And then I'm not saying sell out to mainstream, but even knowing how to take an outfit that's $3 thrifted from a store and put it together in a whole new way. And then Ryan got his hands tattooed at Shrine. I'll send you the video of their bathroom.
You did. No,
You
yeah,
did.
that really kicked my ass into gear for like getting this done. Because as soon as I saw the pink walls, I was like, because I already had got this color and everything, and I was like, okay, Jackie, like get your shit together. And then even just like all of the artwork, like all the stuff on the walls, like it was so busy and funky, but still not overwhelming. I love it.
The not wrapping paper. I love wallpaper. That's why I love this, because I think I want to get wallpaper and do it in the bathroom with the soaking tub and make it really tropical. So cool. When you walk into that shop, this is a cool little street. You go in the shop, it's right in the heart of Santa Fe. I walk in. The tattoo shop is unique that way. It had this beautiful pink rug, very white. Usually it's very dark, I think, or it feels more enclosed, but it was kind of open. They had a lot of botanical flowers. This will interlay in with Laurel from Wilde Ink. So it's Sabo, it's fresh starts, potting, cactus, succulents, delivery, homescaping. And it's right next to Shrine Tattoo. So while Ryan was getting his fingers done, so I was inspired around your birthday gift. And then they also sold from, I think, 2014. I haven't seen Olo anywhere. This was one of my favorite scents, called Lightning Paw. And it smells so good. The manager, just so knowledgeable. I loved her outfit. She had this sick ring that it covered the size of her hand, but it was a star that she had made with the gem, and her boyfriend makes the cuffs and the jewelry. So it's cactus, plant life, jewelry, oils, seeds, some pottery. And then I peeked in the back. I said, "Can I go back here?" She said, "Oh, yeah, sure." There was this tub that was the size of the whole wall, old school tub, all the plants hanging. It was so beautiful. I think you're on mute. You're on mute. I missed all that.
Like when you first meet people, it's usually like, oh, like, what do you do? I never ask that because I'm like, I don't fucking care. I don't want to talk about work. Do you? What's your zodiac sign and what color underwear are you wearing?
Yeah.
Well, let's really get to know each other.
Are you wearing underwear? Are you like a thong, brief, or panty kind of person? I
Yeah.
want to know. As a guy, are you a boxer, tighty whitey, or like boxer brief?
I usually don't wear underwear.
I don't wear it when I'm wearing dresses.
Your vagina has to breathe too. It
Yeah.
has a mouth and it needs to breathe.
It has feelings. Yeah, I don't ask people what they do either. I think it's rude. What do you do for a living? It's like, I'm living, motherfucker. That's what I'm doing.
Trying to survive. What are you up to?
Try to get out of bed and have a good day. That's what I'm doing for a living. And does making a living mean like you're actually profiting on money? I think everybody's so skewed and in that concept of what do you do?
Yeah.
I love it when people like, oh, I'm an artist. That's what I do. And they might have another job, but that's not what they're going to tell you that they're doing.
Right. Even when it's like with me, it's like, oh, I have a store, I'm a business owner. It's like, oh my God, cool. Don't get it twisted. I have no idea what I'm doing. And it's been 15 years.
It's so not true. I'm so happy that you're doing the storefront. You're so bloody talented at it. You're inspired again in some other ways through maybe this. I feel that all of these things are so connected. When you go to the Laurel from Wild Ink, what she was also talking about was just staying consistent and being productive.
That's my biggest flaw in business.
I asked her, as a business owner from one to the other, what was your takeaway from how in 5 years she became very successful? You know, she's printing on clothing and selling it in bulk. It was staying consistent with productivity, staying consistent online as well. And she's going into her shop and every day that she goes there, she makes something.
It's Tuesday morning and I am meeting Laurel from Wild Ink at the John Donne Bridge of the Rio Grande. What's super special about the spot where I'm taking you is after my mom passed away, my uncle and I spread my ashes down where Laurel and I will have our chat and discussion about nature, art, the evolution of her shop at Wild Ink.
I was able to start my business because of the pandemic, actually. I was going to school full-time for my fine arts degree. And my kids were young. My kids were in preschool at the time. So I have two kids. Yeah. So then remember I'd like drop them off in the morning, go to school all day, pick them up, and then I'd go and work shifts in the evening. And then the pandemic happened. And I also, right before the pandemic happened, I had my thyroid was swollen. It was like in my late 20s, my thyroid was swollen. And it was from the stress that I was under. And when everything stopped and then I was able to have unemployment, I was like, there's no way I can this is insane. Like I was able to really look at the amount of time that I was spending away from my kids, and then what I was doing to my body as well. And all of that like shifted, like when everything stopped and my stress levels changed, then I didn't have those issues with my thyroid anymore. And because I had the unemployment, I was able to invest that money into my business. So that's what I was able to do. And it really started organically. I graduated with my fine arts degree that spring of 2020. And then a part of my thesis, I worked with some prints to have like repetitive imagery. And then that summer, I just started playing around more with the prints, and it just happened organically. And I was able to, through that degree, realize the importance of having a consistent studio practice. And so I held on to that, and it morphed into printmaking. And then I started to post them online on my Instagram. People started to buy them, and they started with paper prints. I wasn't even like using ink the right way because I didn't know anything. I was all totally self-taught. I didn't take any block printing classes when I was in school, or printmaking classes. And then by that fall, then I started to do winter, I started to do like bandanas with this imagery that I was working with. And then by that spring, then I had like hoodies and like upcycled things, and it just kept on growing, but I kept on showing up for it. And I think that's my biggest piece is like, I know that we have like economic, thresholds that hold us back from being able to full on do things, but I've built up my business over 5 years, and it's because I just keep showing up consistently. Like, it's hard for me to juggle what self-care looks like around it too, because it feeds me so much that it is a part of my self-care. But like, I always have to be creative, and if I spend a week away from the studio, I come back filled with ideas, but I can tell like not being physically in creative flow will get to me. So I just try to maintain that. I think that's my biggest piece of advice is having consistent, showing up for yourself consistently in creative flow. Our nervous systems need it too.
The consistency comes from doing this every day. Do you feel like if you dropped off, would people still be trying to find your work, or do you feel like that all works kind of in tandem together too?
I think at the beginning it was really important to consistently show up on the internet, because that's the way my business started. But now I'm kind of getting to the place where I can kind of I don't have to worry about making a post a week. I haven't really worried about that this past month because I'm so busy with wholesale orders, which is great. It's kind of a relief to not be like, I have to record this process so then I can make a reel, or I have to get pictures of this so then I can make a post. But definitely in the beginnings, it was really important to show up in that way so then people could realize what I was doing, because I think it takes a long time for people to realize what you're doing. And even at the beginning, I didn't really know what I was doing. I was just doing whatever I was being pulled at. And now it's starting to make sense, because all these like little threads with any kind of art making, these little threads all weave together, and you can see how these individual threads influence the bigger picture later on, but it takes a while to build and build and build to be able to have that overall perspective, to see like the full tapestry in a way.
That actually goes right into one of my questions, because as an artist, I would say in the hair journey, I would create these, I would create things or plant seeds that I had no idea at the time actually were linking to something that I was doing later, to like create things out of nothing. And I feel like you just do that organically, but you can also articulate what that means.
Uh-huh.
Do you have that then where you're like, oh, you know what? Even before I started this, I knew 10 years ago that somehow block printing, or there was something that I was going to do, but you just didn't know exactly what it was. And were you planting seeds?
I have this really distinct memory of being in high school, and I don't remember if it was freshman or sophomore year, but I was a part of like an art club after school, which I didn't really enjoy school, but joining this art club, I remember this moment of like I think it was like my first real dive into a creative flow. And it was I did this charcoal piece. There was like this architectural buttress that I did, from a photo with charcoal. But I remember like really being able to witness the payoff of dropping into that kind of a deeper state of flow, besides like having assignments that I had to maintain in this like rule box or whatever. And so that's like something that stands out and in my memory. And I think it's because of that was like the first seed of, or the first like revealing of the gift of that flow state. I wasn't aware of it as a teenager, and I definitely had these moments of like getting really creative, especially after having my children and like being a stay-at-home mom for the beginning part of their life, where I had a lot of time. I taught myself how to crochet. I mean, like Wild Ink originally started, my Instagram handle was Wild Hooker Art because I was a crocheter, and Wild is a family name. But and I was like crocheting little baby outfits and like crocheting hats and stuff because that was like my only easy access to creative flow when Lupin, my youngest daughter, was young. And I remember like hand drawing cards for people's like whatever birthdays or holidays and stuff like that. So those like little snippets. I mean, I do remember like doing something in high school with printmaking, which everyone has the story of like, oh, I remember doing some project in high school with relief printing. And so that was kind of like the first little seed of that. But like I said, I didn't really dabble in it too much. Definitely, I've always had a strong relationship with nature. And so that is definitely reflected in my work. And the more and more I work with it, the more and more it makes sense. And I think um, finding psychedelics in my early 20s as well influenced my affinity for it. Just to be able to really tap into like how we're all connected and everything's witnessing itself, and we're witnessing it all, but it's all witnessing us back. And so I kind of really like to play with that, even if it is just my translation of a red-tailed hawk in a block. It's still it still comments on that relationship that we share, which is something that all of humanity, like throughout all of human existence, we've always shared this relationship, and we've always had these insights into that. And a lot of that was taken away, right, with the like industrial revolution and capitalism and all of that. It's kind of ripped away in our society, but all of our lineages hold that like really close and sacred.
You know, the idea of alchemy for me, specifically with the work that you do, because it's so transformative and you're taking something and turning it into artwork, either on clothing or however you translate that block. And I remember you even using these two things are communicating when I was learning how to do the carving.
Mm-hmm.
And you use that word communication, and you just use that word too right now. On a daily basis, do
Yeah.
you find that you need to kind of go back into nature in order to bring it back into your work?
Nature's a big part of my life. And I reclaimed that more so, well, as I'm like an adult, right? It's a big, important piece to regulating my system. And if what I like most is being quiet and still in nature to be able to really pay attention to everything that's going on around me. And I really feel like the energetics of our world and how we interact with that are found in nature. I don't know if that makes sense the way I worded that, but like if I notice that, you know, it's just like the swallowtails dance around me in the front yard all the time at the shop, but I don't see them all over the place all the time anywhere else around town. So that like puts up a little spotlight for me to be like, oh, something's being communicated here. Or like the ravens that hang out in my backyard, something's being communicated there. And so then I kind of just dive more into those little lights or those little flags that pop up, or paying attention to like, oh, the smell of the willows really draws me in, and any time of year that I smell the willow, it always takes me back to the water in the river. And what does that represent for me? So digging deeper into what in my physical eyes and also my mind's eye is coming around again and again. Diving more into spirituality and what that looks like for me. I didn't grow up in a home that centered religion in any way. Actually, I grew up in a family space that really criticized organized religion, which kind of left me without spirituality for a lot of my upbringing. My mom, though, was a hippie, and she definitely always maintained like this connection with nature. And even when I was like a teenager and not wanting to go on hikes and stuff, we always like hiked and we always went camping. Even when I had that resistance, she always like brought that back for showing up for me. And so as I've reclaimed this lost spirituality, which I think like goes back generations, like not really having that connection with spirit, but a lot of the teachings that I resonate with really emphasize the importance of water and And then if we look at just the biology of things, right? We're water beings first and foremost, I think, before we are human beings, and we're the ones that are capable of taking care of the water, and everything else participates in the water, right? The fish and the birds and the plants, but like we're the ones that can actually like see something wrong and physically take care of it and show up for it to protect it. And I think it's because there's this communication, because we're mainly made up of water, and we can dive down a really big wormhole about this, because there's also, and I can't remember his name, but there's a Japanese scientist that tested water and spoke to it like words of love, and then also like words of hate, and this actual structure of water changes based on that. And so then if we're mainly like water beings too, how we talk to ourselves and how we allow people to talk to us reflects in our structure inside of our bodies too. And water is also so old. Like water, all the water that came here to this earth came from outer space, specifically came from Jupiter. And the asteroids were like thrown into molten earth, whatever, how many hundreds of millions of years ago. And then all those water molecules in molten earth were able to come together, and as it cooled, then were brought to the surface. And then it rained for like thousands of years, and that's how all the water got here, all of our lakes and rivers and oceans. And without water, we wouldn't have life. I mean, the sun also plays a big part in it, but like water is like the thing that we're always searching for in outer space, right? We're like, oh, this planet that's so many light years away could possibly sustain life because there's water, or there's ice, or there's like remnants of water being there. And so it's kind of like we make things so complicated in our life, but it's all right there in front of us. And I think also like living in the desert really highlights the necessity of water, and really highlights how precious it is. Because if we lived like in the South where it's humid and water's lush, we would have a different relationship with it because it's everywhere and it's abundant. But here, where you like struggle to garden and you have to really pay attention to your water consumption for the garden and the timing of everything, and you really have to be in tune with the seasons. Like monsoon seasons are coming in now, and we're all so happy because of it. Even though if it rains every day, we get a rainbow. All the plants pop up, everything's happy, all the bees are happy, all the birds are happy. And it becomes like a celebratory time. I really enjoy summer because of this. And it's really sad when we don't have monsoons, and it's really sad when we don't have snow, because we know how it affects our river. Like we're really in tune with our water here, because of how scarce it is. And yeah, it's an important thing to notice and to take care of.
Another piece of advice be for, even as a woman artist, I don't like identifying people as such like so separately, but I do think there is a lot of struggle for women in art specifically of getting their voice out there and being taken seriously.
I think a big piece of it is to regulate your systems as much as you can, and not get caught up in the end goal, and to really be present in the moment. And being present in the moment will like bring whatever into your lens that you're supposed to be working with, and just really listening to your heart and really listening to what pulls to you. And it takes a lot of trust to do that, because we live in capitalism and a crumbling democracy, and so we have all these other angles that are like pressure to make money and pressure to do these things. But if you can give yourself like that little sliver of time to show up for yourself, drop into some creative flow, and let go of all those expectations that society's put on us, then like what is in your heart and what is pulling to you will keep on revealing itself, and you'll be able to hone in on your intuition in a better way to help guide you. It takes a lot of trust, and it's really scary, trusting in that way. And I still fight with it, the trust, but I know that this is starting to get spiritual now, but I just know that like the universal unfolding always has my best interest in mind, even when it gets really hard, and just to maintain that as a baseline, and then refining your intuition and listening, to your heart and what's the pathway forward for yourself. I think that's the best piece of advice, to keep showing up in that way, whatever way it looks. I tell people, like, spend 15 minutes a day. You could crumble up paper and make it into a sculpture, organize some leaves on the ground. It doesn't matter that anyone sees it. You see it, you witness it, and you witness yourself in flow, and that all influences something one way or another. It definitely nourishes and calms your nervous system and strengthens your brain.
So beautiful.
Yeah.
And Lydia.
Lydia.
I feel like Lydia has a soul to her that is also very calming. Anytime she sits on my lap, I always feel very privileged. But I can't thank you enough. I'm really looking forward to working with you on the coloring books for the retreat.
Yes.
And I believe we have a date on the radio as well, which
Sweet.
is a little bit different than this conversation.
As an artist, doing what you love and loving it is the best feeling ever, because a lot of times we do things and we don't love it too as artists, and that can be really hard. When I don't like something that I created and I just spent all that time doing it and it's not exactly how I imagined it, and then you go back to the maybe 80 percentile of that where you're making stuff and you love all of it all the time, I feel is such a great gift. But who cares about what anybody else is doing out there as long as you love it? I'm so proud of my uncle that he's just so committed to the abstract. There's nothing wrong with painting the mountains, but what's in the plaza that's selling is for the tourists, pretty much, I would say. They want the landscapes, they want the mountains, but he's just painting his abstract. That's what's keeping him alive.
It's like one of my favorite quotes, be yourself, because what if somebody's looking for you and they can't find you? The person as a creator, be yourself. Like, you don't have to be a sellout. And like, I like doing dog portraits, but I don't want to be the dog portrait lady. And I know that I could be, and I know that I could make a lot of money doing that. But I will. I don't want to mainly do that. Most of the time when somebody wants a portrait, they don't want it funky and artsy like how I would want to paint it. They want it like photo. And that's just not who I am.
Fuck you all.
I really do like painting pets.
I mean, you're amazing at them, but I wouldn't want to do the same damn thing all the time anyway. Quote, I don't know why I just said quote.
Whoa.
It's organic and you don't feel like you're advertising or selling out or whatever it is.
Everything is different when you're just your authentic self and you're not. I know it's so cliche to say, but people say it a lot for a reason because it's true. Just gonna go with what makes me happy, with what I want to do, and then everything else just kind of comes naturally.
Your quote, mine was Oscar Wilde. Just be yourself. Everyone's already taken.
Yeah, I love that one too.
You have to, one, know yourself, two, figure out how to love yourself. Because you want to lead with love, right? You don't want to lead with like depression or whatever it is. Or at least if you are in a state of depression, you still have the self-love to just give yourself the compassion to get through that spot.
Right.
You know, but yeah, being your most authentic self would, I guess, start with love too, right? We just learn to not like ourselves or be like, beat ourselves up or feel like we should be a certain thing or whatever it is. Yeah.
That's definitely like our downfall as a human race, is like the need to prove ourselves.
So much ego in it too, right? I try so hard. I don't know how I come across, and I'll never know. So these are the times where the great philosophers have studied and tried to understand the difference between the id, the ego, and all of that. And I try not to lead with ego. I'm really conscious of that. I don't want to ever come across as narcissistic, or I think sometimes when you are creative, kind of alternative ADHD neurodivergent person, sometimes you can come across as being narcissistic or having ego when it's not that at all.
I know how valuable my time is and my energy because I don't have any to begin with. So very selfish with myself. And if I don't feel like doing something, I don't. I really don't.
If you don't mind, it doesn't matter. That one helped me so much. And if
Yeah.
somebody can't understand that you should just be flexible with the way people live their life and operate,
Yeah.
I can't. I get so stressed out when somebody puts me on a time constraint. Now, I'm usually on time with work. Then outside of work, it's hard. I guess it's time management, but I don't think it is. It's also this thing that just seems like such a big task in my mind.
Yeah, it's like I feel like when I have something that I have to do, like go to the post office or I need to go pick this thing up, like I have to get cat food after this. And I'm like, oh, that's going to take up my entire day. It takes maybe at most a half hour. It's like having an appointment and you can't do anything the entire day because you have an appointment. Like I'm like that too, where I'm like, no, I can't do anything. My appointment's at 6 o'clock, but always trying to make all my appointments as early as possible so I'm not thinking about it all day.
I took off of work tomorrow just because of Friday and the radio. The one like I've also been going.
Yeah.
I don't want to be there in my mind, the thought, and I love doing hair. It taxes me in a different way. And if I'm having to talk all day the day before the radio, I feel like I'm just a little bit burnt.
Right, exactly. It's like I love being at the store. I love my customers and I love talking to them. Everybody's super, super cool. Some of them don't even talk. They just come in, look around, buy something, and leave. Some of them do talk. It's like it's just so exhausting.
It
Because you still have to put on a mask.
Yeah, you do. And it could be as close to your mask as possible, like that you made.
Yeah,
But
it's
at that,
work. And
it is. You should, right? The same thing on Fridays. Ryan was like, "Do you want to go to the gym?" I go, "I have the radio station." He goes, "It's not until 1." I go, No.
you're like, oh, I'm
Okay.
booked. All day I'm booked. Mentally, all day I'm booked.
I am.
Afterwards, I feel amazing and I have all the energy in the world. And then I'm like, I could go all night.
And then I want to do karaoke. So
yeah, but before I'm like, you're asking way too much of me.
it's the initial getting there. And
It's
then
the anticipation.
yeah.
What I finally found out 33 years later, my main trigger is like anticipation. That's what, like, my body can't tell that, which a lot of anxiety, your body can't tell the difference between excitement and anxiety. So when somebody has like that anticipation anxiety, that's like tenfold. So it's like when I'm excited about something, I'm like, I'm not excited. I'm extremely anxious and I don't want to do it.
Anticipation.
Autistic.
Figure out how to participate in your own damn life.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. What are you up to then? You have are you going on the open mic to sing?
I can't sing.
You're
You want me
just
to sing?
watching.
Lucky you were born that far away, so we can both make fun of distance. Let on a little.
Oh wait, Shakira.
She's like, you're on whatever. She's so hot. Still, to this day. Absolutely.
Her children are beautiful too. It was so cool watching them watch their mom on stage freaking rocking it in her 40s. I think it was at the Grammys, and she was so hot. And I thought, if I was one of those kids, I'd be like, that is my fucking mom.
I would have a sign. That's my mom. and then everybody would want to date you because they know you're going to age well.
Oh, so open mic night Friday.
Open
Tori's
mic night Friday. Oh, I wanted to. Okay, so this will tie together back to like styling and everything. I was going to say, if you wanted to style me for the open mic, we can do like a whole little, like, even if it was just us exchanging texts, I can edit it into like a video showing your process of styling somebody and then show the picture.
Yeah.
Like kind of make it like a little artsy video type of thing of you, your process of styling when you're not in actually like somebody's area or something, if you wanted to.
I love this. Yeah, let's do that tomorrow.
Okay, for open mic night, since your hair is now more auburny, what I would do, try like some kind of green, I think, just because that's complimentary. Although I love pink, it has to be a dusty pink with auburn, like dusty mauvey pinks. Let's use my beauty blenders. Not that side, but I think less of this and a little more of that color for summer. I'm feeling more like on the mauvey side versus the greeny side, but if you did go green, I would say maybe more of like, I would say sage and celery, but I like the celery because it's still July.
As far as those greens and pink tones go, that's kind of all I have that would fit and is like summery.
Perfect world, that would have been more of a mauvey, like just a little deeper, and that shirt already has shape, so you don't have to like belt it or anything like that. If you feel more comfortable wearing a skirt or, you know, like looser pants or something. Okay, love it. Very light. I love the shape of it, and it gives you like bell arms. Because if you decide you want to wear jewelry, you could do something in here too. Are you into wearing shorts? Are you one of those people that wears shorts? Just like a basic pair of khakis. Some kind of short, like short. That top, shorts, and those green cowboy boots that you wore to the wedding, so cute, and it's both the colors. I love that it's exactly the way I said it wasn't gonna be in the beginning, but that's how it looks evolve. I love the pink, those shorts. I don't even know what I must have hit slow-mo. Are you gonna wear makeup? Are you gonna wear a headband? Because that looks really cute too. And that could be accessories and color balancing.
Not sure. I probably will wear my natural hair. Even like try to just slick my hair back. I don't know, we can fuck around. I'll definitely do just like a subtle mascara and a browner mauvey deeper lip.
I think it's a sleigh. Hold on, did she just say sleigh?
Thank you so much, Jay. It was really nice to not have to think about an outfit and to put something on that was already completed. Thank you.
You love your natural hair now?
Oh yeah, let's say we're really bad at intros and we're bad at extros.
Yeah.
Okay, for an intro, Hi guys, welcome to Art and Alchemy, and we're going to suck your mind.
Like a succulent.
Goodbye.
Peace. Peace.
We come in peace. We leave in peace.
It's my
Look,
little
I have
mug.
alien hands.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway. Look, it's literally
Oh,
it's
sick.
literally the same color.
Been out way too long.